Okay, this is a basketball, and this is a life update. And honestly, I don't really know where to start. It's been so long since I've done a life update that I don't remember where I left off. What I do remember is about 4 years ago, I decided that I wanted to stop sharing my personal life on these videos. Before that, I was doing daily vlogs. I was allowing you into every aspect of my life, into my relationships, into my hurts, into my joys, into my wins and my losses. You guys were right there with me. And at a certain point, it just started to feel like too much. It felt like I was giving up too much of myself and I wasn't keeping anything for myself. And about 4 years ago, I made the conscious decision to stop letting you guys in so much. This morning, I woke up and made the conscious decision that I want to let you guys back in. Over the past 4 years, I've been through massive depression. The pandemic crushed me. I nearly went bankrupt basically every week of the pandemic. Don't know how I survived. I watched my entire career that I built over 10 years just evaporate. Something I couldn't control. I worked so hard. I put every ounce of my energy into something, and I finally was reaching my goals and, achieving the things I wanted to achieve, and then it crashed down. And that was really hard for me to accept. I guess it's probably what a professional athlete would feel like if they spent their entire lives training and then got to the pros and broke their leg and could never play again. That's how it felt to me, and it was tough, and I went into a really bad place, to be honest. And I really had the battle to get through that. And even now, I'm finding myself still battling to get through and energizing myself to feel good about the way things are going. But over the past couple months, I've started to feel like things are shifting again. Things are starting to move, and I'm starting to feel like me again. I'm starting to feel ambitious again. I'm starting to feel driven again. I'm starting to feel ready to take on the world again, and it's a great feeling. So I want to let you guys back in on this journey. I'm going to change the way the videos are done from now until I change my mind again. So I'm not going back to daily vlogging. But from this point forward, until I change my mind again, I'm going to try to do a weekly video in which I'm vlogging almost every day. There's not going to be videos about photography or a specific photography lesson anymore. It's going to be what I did that week. And I'm going to try to include photography every episode. I'm going to try to get out and shoot photos every episode. But I don't know what that'll look like. Next week, I'm going to Italy. Instead of doing 7 videos in 7 days in Italy, I'll do 1 video for that week, and I'm going to try to share more of the personal side of that experience rather than just the photography. There's 4,000 photography vlogs out there. I don't need to be that. I just want to be myself again. And I want you guys to accept me for me again, like you used to, and like you did before I started cutting you guys out of my life. So, I'm vulnerable. I'm bringing you into my life and I'm being vulnerable. And to start with the vulnerability, I'm going to address the topic of the video. And I've never said this on video. Jodie and I separated about 6 months ago. And I never published anything on any social media anywhere for a number of reasons. First of all, when a relationship ends, you can kind of feel like a failure. And I had felt like for the past 3 years that I was a failure. My businesses were failing, my YouTube channel was failing. I just started to feel like a failure, and it was just not another failure I was willing to accept. And so for 6 months, Jodie and I have been separated. And honestly, the relationship we have is still very strong, but it's a friendship now. We still have our business together, the coffee business, which I'm gonna let you in on a little bit more today. We still have our 2 amazing rabbits together that I still love and I get to see quite often. And we still own an apartment together. So there's still like a relationship, it's just not a relationship. Yeah, so that's a massive change that's happened in my life recently, and I'm still trying to figure out where I fit in the world now that I've gone through that. And even though the relationship ending was really difficult, I feel like I'm in a really good place right now emotionally. I feel like I've grown a lot, I feel like I've grown up a lot, and I feel like I've matured, and yeah, I feel really good, and I feel energized again by the world for the first time in a really long time. As for the title, am I still single? Maybe, maybe not, but maybe we'll get into that a little bit later on in another video. Now, into today's video. The videos on this new format are going to be longer. I don't know how long. Sometimes they might be 10 minutes, sometimes they might be 40 minutes. I have no idea. But what I really want is to not be afraid to sit down and talk to you for 10 minutes and talk to you about my feelings and what's going on in my life. If you want to skip this part, you're more than welcome to. If you want to skip ahead to when I'm in a location taking photos, which is going to happen at some point in this video, feel free to go ahead and do that. In fact, I don't know what's going to happen on this video, except for I'm going to be moving a lot because it's a bit of a chaotic week. And it's going to start with a quick drive about 15 minutes away to another spot of mine. Let's go. I often think of life as a series of books. In my life, this would be the start of a new one. But I feel like I stopped telling my life story, and I want to do that again. So, I want to reintroduce myself. I'm Brendan Vanson, and this is my crazy life. So I've just driven like 10 minutes away from Lagos to Praia da Luz, which is the town just to the west of Lagos, because I've been so bad at the life update side of things on this channel that I don't even know that I told you guys we have a second coffee shop. So this is not only the second coffee shop, but I'm roasting coffee. So I'll show you the inside, although it's already closed for the day. And then I'll show you the roastery. So this is definitely a smaller location, but cozy with lots of plants, a bookshelf. Normally that table is not on the seat. And then, yeah, coffee shop, nice garbage on the ground, tons of oat milk ready to be served. And these are all my coffees. These are the coffees I've developed in the roastery. We have like 10 coffees at the moment, tons of options. And yeah, this is kind of the barista area. So yeah, really cool. I've got 2 coffee shops. Maybe I don't have 2 coffee shops. I'll explain that later. But let me show you the roastery. So basically, we opened the coffee shop in Lagos, started getting into specialty coffee, and I started really falling in love with the process of developing coffees, of how to bring out flavors in the coffee, how to get the most out of coffee, playing with different roasts. And I realized I wanted to start roasting. So this is the roastery. So again, the coffee shop's there, and basically we converted an old bakery into the roastery on kind of a budget, to be honest. This roaster is an air roaster. It's a fluid bed air roaster. Kind of works like a giant popcorn machine with more control. And then it's kind of messy in here, but you can see, for example, this is a pink bourbon, really expensive coffee actually, a Lactic Natural. This is also from Colombia. This looks like a bag of Brazil. And then this is from the Congo, coffee from the Congo. That might be Honduras. From La Paz, that's a decaf, fake coffee, real coffee. Then in the fridge, we have more coffee. So at the moment we have a bunch of Honduras. It's kind of our main espresso coffee. This is a really nice El Salvador. This is from Rwanda. This is from Papua New Guinea. This one, I'm not sure what this is actually. Burundi, this is also really good. And that looks like more Honduras. So, oh yeah, and there's also 3 bags of Brazil on the floor because Neil hasn't put them away yet. Basically, the way we're operating right now is I'm doing the developing of the coffee. I really love the scientific side of coffee, trying to understand how to develop a roast, get coffee to taste a certain way. I'm playing with different roasts. For those who don't know coffee, with roasting you can kind of do the same things you would with frying an onion. If you fry an onion really hot and fast, it gets crisp and acidic and fruity. If you roast it really slow, it gets caramelized and sweet. Same thing kind of happens with coffee, so I like to play with that, I guess. And actually right now I have to do some roasting because we're developing a new coffee. So I'm gonna roast for a couple minutes or maybe an hour, and then I've got somewhere else to be. And of course I'll take you guys with me. During the pandemic, I lost my purpose a bit. And while I know coffee isn't my life's purpose, it definitely gave me some temporary solace. This coffee roastery has turned into my meditation, the same way photography is. When I'm in here, I have to focus. And that focus allows me to shut off the thousands of other things bouncing around inside my brain. And just like photography, creating coffee was a means of feeling empowered. Sharing my coffee with the world, just like my photographs, was terrifying, exciting, and rewarding. So sorry about the noise and the humming in the background. My test roast is done. And yeah, really good. A little bit chocolatey, a little bit fruity. I like it. I'll let it rest for a couple days and then try it. I'm loving coffee roasting and coffee in general, and I actually feel it has a lot of similarities to photography. It's another one of these things that you can use technical skills to feel like an artist, and I feel empowered by coffee, so it's really exciting, and wow, that's actually really good. Can't wait to make an actual coffee with this. Anyways, I gotta get some sleep because tomorrow it's a long day. As I leave the coffee shop, I know you guys are looking for the most important update. How are my rabbits doing? Well, I'm happy to say they're freaking awesome and they're still my best friends. Hey monkey, you wanna see the camera? You wanna attack the camera? Hey buddy, hey my baby. Hey you. I missed you. I missed you. You want some treats? You wanna do a high five? Come here. High five. High five. Good girl. Good high five. You want a head scratch? Mwah. Mwah. Want to do another high five? Good girl. Hey, Mr. Bear. Boop. Doggy. Hey, bud. Wow. You want that? Waka waka. Waka waka waka. Waka waka. Waka waka. Good boy, bud. Look at the camera. Where are those guys? Where are those guys? Where you going, bud? Tucky, come here. Kisses. Good boy. Good boy, bud. Tucky might not be as graceful as Monkey, but what he lacks in agility, he gains in cheekiness. Okay, so I drove up to Lisbon. I'm in Lisbon now. I'm at the airport and I'm heading to Madeira, heading back to Madeira for reasons that I'll explain once we get there. Not only have I been balancing my new business life, but I've been juggling living in 2 places at the same time. Over the past 3 months, I've been on this EasyJet flight back and forth from Lisbon to Madeira about a dozen times. I've been on this flight so many times, it honestly feels like catching the bus. But no matter how many times I take this flight, the views landing in Madeira never get old. my God, it's absolutely pouring. I'm in Funchal, and actually I rented an apartment in this building, a 3-bedroom apartment. It's not for me, although I've been using it a lot lately. It's for my staff, because basically, it's probably raining too much for me to tell you this story without kind of getting distracted. But basically, when I was here on my photography trip, I fell in love with it. Absolutely loved it. And I decided that I would like to make Funchal a part of my life, if that makes sense. So I started looking around to see if maybe there was like an opportunity to open a coffee shop here as well. And I found the perfect location in like right in the heart of town, in a building that needs a lot of work. So actually, over the past 3 months, I have been doing renovations entirely myself. In fact, let me go back in time with you and show you what the place used to look like. And then if I make it in the rain, I'll show you what it looks like right now. I don't know how well you can see me because it's still dark. Let me try to get some light in here. Cobwebs! Cobwebs! Yeah, that's better, other than the cobwebs on my head. So I'm back. Jodie's actually gone already. Jodie left to go back to the mainland because we're actually opening a bubble tea in Lagos as well. I know things are kind of going crazy right now, but she's left me to deal with this. And she kind of came down here because I really trust her opinion on the design sort of things. And I kind of let my imagination go crazy sometimes a little bit. So I kind of wanted her to see the space and help me figure out how to do this the most efficiently possible. I wanted to rip down all of this wood, and she's convinced me to not rip it down just because that's going to be expensive and scary, because I don't know what's behind this. It might be rock, it might be cement, it might be horrible. Safety first. In clips before this one, this place was even more of a mess. In fact, I counted about 80 cockroaches and 50 spiders who had made their home in this place. So Jodie and I have decided that we're going to pull out these walls. And I honestly don't know if this is a good idea or a bad idea, but I feel like it gives us more options to make it look cool. I should mention this. I didn't have electricity, so I could only work in the day with a flashlight and without any heavy-duty power tools. I tore down these walls with a hammer, an axe, and a crowbar. Unfortunately, what I found behind what I peeled away made me pretty sad. Oh my God, I am soaked. Oh man. And also, I think it might be too dark to show you the inside because I still don't have electricity. But I did a lot. I did a lot considering I didn't have electricity, especially. Really ugly, horrible wood. But then I found out a lot of it was rotting, and behind the rotting wood there was actually rotten cement and crumbling cement. So I had to destroy all of the wood. Underneath it, there was like the horrible cement, so I had to clean out and destroy all the horrible moldy cement. I had to plaster the walls, mud the walls. So this is all cement that I did. I had no idea how to do this before. I just learned on YouTube, kind of like with photography. And then over here on this wall, this was all really bad cement. So it took me a ton of work to fix up the structure of it. And then I put this, I don't know what we call it in English, but in Portuguese they call it cimento cola. It's like glue cement. And I put glue cement. It's what you use for tiling. It's like tiling cement, I guess. And then instead of putting tiles, I put this greenery to kind of give it a fresher vibe in here. And I'm pretty proud of it, to be honest. I wish I could show you better. But for now, actually, I really only came here to help my manager move here because I actually have to get to Italy for a photography trip. And it's kind of crazy, but this balance between my coffee business life and my photography business life, they're just like bouncing me around. And I'm starting to find a balance for it, and I'm absolutely starting to love the balance of it, but it's gonna take some getting used to. So let's get back through the rain and make our way to Italy.
While building a coffee business during the pandemic gave me a purpose, it also left me way overstretched afterwards. I feel like during the pandemic, I went from depression into business survival mode, into business creation, and into a juggling act. And I'd be lying if I said this didn't partially lead to some of the failures in my relationship. Not just with Jodie, but with my friends and my family too. I felt like if I stopped fighting, if I stopped working, if I stopped building, my whole house of cards that I built would collapse, tumbling down on everyone I care about. And I didn't ever ask for help. Never. Not once. If you're feeling overwhelmed, don't be a Brendan. Ask for help. It's only now that I feel like I'm starting to feel a balance develop. But I know that I still need help now, and that I have to start asking for it. I mean, I can't even dress myself properly today. Where are my shoes?
Just landed in Paris, connecting now to Venice. Feeling like I'm getting back into the travel swing. Let's do it. Should also mention that I'm wearing flip-flops because my shoes got soaked in the rain and I didn't have a backup pair. So now I look like an idiot. It's like 12 degrees and I've got flip-flops and a t-shirt on.
My travel attire is extra funny when you think about how over-the-top French people dress in the winter. Everyone around is in massive felt coats and scarves, me in flip-flops. Classic.
So it's now the morning. I landed in Venice and I slept at the airport hotel. Now I'm just waiting for Greg to arrive.
Say what you want about Venice being built on a swamp, there is no more impressive way in the world to get from an airport to a city than taking a boat into Venice. It just sets a tone for this magical place.
Okay, I've arrived in Venice and it's a little bit dreary, and actually I kind of like Venice when it's like this, a little bit moody. So I'm going to drop off my suitcase. I'm leading a photography tour here, well not here but in Italy, and so I'm gonna meet some people and go out and see if we can make a photo this evening or tomorrow morning, whichever the light prefers us to do.
I have a love-hate relationship with Venice. I love it in the fall, winter, and spring. I hate it in the summer. This time of year though, it's relatively quiet and it's really moody. In the evening, we went out looking for an image, but the light didn't really help the photo at all. So in the morning, we wandered out into a sprinkling of rain to see if we could capture something different.
Okay, so I'm in Venice in the middle of St. Marco's Square, and I had this idea to try to do something a little bit different this morning with the photos, but the square is full of construction. I don't know, maybe there was a concert or something, or an event, but there's all this, it looks like event stage construction, maybe scaffolding about to happen. So that photo's not gonna happen. So I think I'm gonna turn over to a classic. So I'm down at the gondolas now, and I said that this is a bit of a classic. It was an under-exaggeration. This is the classic, I think, photo from Venice. You've got all the gondolas around. I've got the pier, one of the street lights, and then the tower and cathedral in the background. And I've worked on this photo for the better part of a decade, just, you know, moving forwards and backwards and playing with different lines. And every time I come here, I have a different idea of what I want to do. And then every time I come here and I see it, I don't follow the idea I had before. So what I'm doing this time is I'm actually right on top of the pier. Normally I would stand a little bit farther back, use the street lights, use the whole pier. But this time I wanted to get right on top of the pier just to make everything feel wider and bigger. So I'm right on top. I'm almost at 16 millimeters, I think, or 15 millimeters. And then I'm just playing with the light. About 10 seconds right now. Yeah, there's lots of movement in the boats, but I don't mind. And we're right in the heart of Blue Hour. And actually, I think that's kind of working for us. Every single time I come to this location, by the time I think I have an image framed up I like, to turn the street lights off and it kind of kills it. Happened again this morning, but the image is still pretty cool, I think. Now, life update. Yeah, lots of big changes in my life. And yeah, I think there's gonna be some changes you see on this channel as well. And hopefully that leads to some more connection between us, which would be awesome. And on the next one, we're heading into the Dolomites. I'll see you there. Peace.